you're probably noticing a little bit of a jump here. The thing that happened was I went into this boss fight, but I had apparently forgotten some of the specifics of the boss fight. To be a little bit more precise, I had forgotten that one of the parts of the boss fight, if it gets below a certain percentage of health, it uses an attack that pretty much guarantees it killing one of your party members if you're not properly prepared for it. And if his partners happen to be alive at the time, they'll rush in and finish the job and probably kill one or more of your party members that are still standing in the process. So I'm going into this fight now armed with the knowledge of how this boss fight works and how things work out and all that stuff. Because knowledge is power, and I'm very fucking powerful right now. And I'm buying some wake up spells because I kinda got hit with the sleep spell. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. Plus it doesn't hurt to have it, especially now that I have my first backpack and my first extra inventory page. Isn't it lovely? And I'm getting a tonic that increases the room for error I have. Now if one of my party members die, I can just bring them back from the dead. Before I couldn't do that, so if they were dead for the rest of the fight, which is not good. This way leads forward, however, there's a very, very important side quest. If you miss it, it's gone forever, but you should come back here and not only get this stuff, but also check out the room next door. Very important. Very, very, very fucking important. Why won't this open? I'm pushing on as hard as I can. You hear a voice from the other side. Yeah, let's go in. Dramatic. I push the door to go in, but I have to pull to get back out? What a mystery! Oh, by the way, let me give you something. For saving me. Sure. Good. Close your eyes and clench your teeth. I'm scared. There's a rape joke in here. I'm pretty sure that's what they tell the little guy in prison. Just close your eyes and clench your teeth. It'll be over before you know it. And apparently there's a load screen between us and our rape. Yoo-hoo! Welcome to the fairy colony. We'll help you visit. Shit, I need to stop hitting that thing. It's just to explain the specifics of how this works. Here's the message board. Strange sound coming from the deep. Tee-hee. Those ants sure are uppity. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the usual pace. And here are our ants. No better deals around here than me. Hire me? Thanks for hiring me. Got muscle work? I got muscles. Hire me? Thanks for hiring me. I'm smarter than I looks. Hire me? Thanks for hiring me. So there's our first 3 ants hired. This is the ant colony, and the way this works, you can deposit money and pay for various worker ants, like the ones we just hired, and they'll create this huge underground city, and we can sort of control the whole thing. It's pretty much a create your own town, and it's a portable town that you can carry with you everywhere you go in the game. So if you're ever running low on items, you can just come here and buy some. It's very, very nice, and there's a lot of side quests tied to here. I'm putting all 3 ants on different teams. We have our 3 different teams, and down here we have a bunch of areas. These are going to be filled in later, and that's our little firing area. If you want to get rid of an ant, we just drag them over there. It's what happens if an ant happens to be not especially cost effective. Our starter ants are pretty crappy, so we might end up firing some at some point. And this is the map of the entire city. And that right there, that's not a good spot. That is not a good spot at all. I'm just giving fair warning. You're probably not going to see it in the main LP, but probably in the additional videos I'm going to do to add on to it. And I'm going to take a little look around. Right now, the colony is really, really small. there's no additional ants we can hire, just those 3 starters. And they're all pretty crappy. So this is the area, this is what it looks like. And yes, my counter is still going up while I'm doing this, so I'm just showing it off and I'm fucking hurting myself in the process. And I'm just going to leave. They have their orders, they're all set to excavate areas. So while we're out fighting monsters, they're going to be digging up the tunnel. We fairies live in that colony. If you want to see us again, come find me in town. But if you want to come see us from outside of town, use these fairy drops. It'll take you to the colony from anywhere. Obtain fairy drops. These will take us right to the colony from pretty much anywhere. And we can also use fairies in town to take us right there. So those ants are set to excavate. So while we're out fighting monsters and exploring the world and progressing the story, they're back in the colony digging out areas. And sooner or later they're going to clear out some rooms, and then we can really get talking and start setting up jobs and that sort of thing. You need a Biocore ID. But I don't have a Biocore ID. Oh well, guess I better go back outside. Yeah, that ant colony, that's a really long, really extensive side quest, and there's a lot of really nice stuff tied to it. But it takes a little while to do, so yeah. I'll probably explain it in more detail a little bit later. But first, cutscene and boss fight. Is this gas? Aw, Ryu, did you cut one? It's him. Hey, Grunt, you're Ryu, right? Rangers. So, we've become wanted. No. Ha 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 ha. No, not yet. But we heard Bosch tell the boss about you, and we figured bringing you in would give our reputation a nice boost. So we got this ready and waited for you to come through here. You greedy scumbags. Adorable little cough. You used gas for that? What about the townsfolk? It's nerve gas we use against Genix. Perfect for low Ds, too. Now you're coughing, aren't you, old man? We heard you're pretty strong for a low D. Just being cautious, you know. Okay, so here's our sort of anti-party boss fight. The nerve gas causes a poison status on every single turn. So, pretty much don't bother using antidotes and stuff. There's not much point to it. And this party is pretty much the exact same thing as our own party. There's a gunner, there's a warrior, and there's a mage. Don't quite understand the whole idea of them having a mage and how that works, considering some of the storyline stuff. But yeah. And there's also some little gimmicks tied to each character. One causes status effects, one uses a really powerful attack. The mage uses a really powerful attack if he's below half health, and the warrior can move twice in one turn. I think that's all of them. Yeah, the gunner uses the status effects. He can also hit multiple targets. The way you want to deal with this boss fight is you want to take down one enemy at a time. I made the mistake last time of sending Ryu after a different group of enemies. So while Ryu was taking down the mage and kind of chasing the gunner around, Nina and Lyn were taking on the fencer guy, the warrior. I'm not sure what the fuck to call them. But yeah, so they weakened him. And then all of a sudden, the mage started using this really powerful attack called 100 Gears. It's kind of like 1,000 Needles, if you're familiar with that move. What it does, it's guaranteed 100 damage no matter what your resistances are. And if you're looking at my health totals, yeah, not too far above 100. And after he used that, this warrior guy took a move and he moves all over the fucking place. So that got to be a huge problem, and that's what killed a lot of my party members. And I was down to like, I think Lynn was the only one left standing, and I didn't have any resurrection items, and all 3 of my enemies were still alive. So I wasn't going to last much longer. So at that point I just cut my losses and try again, hopefully with less problems. And take a little look at these guys. Lose twice in one turn, use status attacks when your opponent has HP. Yeah, these guys are a lot higher level than I am. So this counter is in there. Trouble. Yeah, this guy will also heal damage on his partners. Cause status ailments. Yeah, he'll heal damage. But you can kind of work around this because Nina alone should do more damage than he can heal in one turn. So the damage that Ryu and Lin dish out should permanently stay on him. So it should only take an extra turn or two to take him down. If that much. So don't worry too much about the fact that he's healing people. You should be able to stay on top of it. And since you can heal with your items and stuff, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. The poison doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Poison is largely useless in this game. So, yeah, it's not too much trouble to have it on you at all times. The order that I'm going to take these guys down in is Warrior, Mage, or Warrior, Gunner, then Mage. You don't want to leave the Gunner for last, because if he's the last one left standing, he gets a decent stat boost, and he gets a little bit difficult to deal with that way. Just never take out the Gunner last. And since the Warrior moves twice in one turn, he's a pretty good starting point. He doesn't have extremely high HP, and he's probably going to be pretty close to you anyway. So it's worthwhile to just take him out first. It'll make things somewhat easier, I guess. Somewhat. And if you're really good and really lucky, maybe you can even whip out some AoE stuff. And again, I could just D-dive in this battle and take everything out in like one hit. But again, there are serious consequences for that, so even though it's a possible solution, it's not one you should consider using. Unless you're really budgeting it out, or other stuff. I like to keep my dive for really late in the game. I like to keep my percentage as low as possible, just because these guys all drop different pieces of equipment, so you might want to get some abilities that way. Also, Bosch ended up dropping a skill, but I couldn't get it because I took him out one turn. I felt it was more useful to take him down that way as opposed to getting that skill. Especially since I'll probably pick it up on something else sooner or later anyway. Because there's never really just one way to pick up most of the skills. There's usually an alternative. This game is fortunately not that evil. I should be building more combos or working around, but I don't want to knock these people away, and about the only decent combo abilities that I have tend to involve knocking people around, like the kick skill, so I'm relying on a lot of basic slashing. I probably should have altered my skill set for this fight. Ah well, this stuff occurs to me after I actually did it right. But hey, I'll live, I'm sure. It's not like I'm losing much here. This Ice Blast ability is very large and pretty useful. Fortunately, Nina can actually learn that, just to give you an idea of how useful she can get in some situations. Really, really nice skill. Of course, I'm not going to have it for quite a long time. Sad, sad, sad. Seriously, why can I not have nice things? Why can't I have nice things? I deserve nice things. Instead I get poison arrow and lightning bolts. I like lightning bolts though. They let me shock things. Zap. 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 Just wear them down. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's 100 gears. 100 damage. Guaranteed. So, if he hit Nina, who usually only has about 120 at this point. I mean, she has 123 and I raised it a little bit. That's pretty much a guaranteed kill right there. And especially if the warrior ends up getting an extra turn. Which she probably will. So yeah. Ugh, you move quick for a grunt. Huh? Quick. You and Nina, get to higher ground. Quick! Gratuitous slow motion rotate shot. Yes. Aerial pollution warning. Level 4. Sealing off affected areas. And of course, they're just walking away. I thought he said quick. That's not quick, that's walking. For that matter, why are you walking, Ryu? It's poisonous nerve gas. Come on. Fucking run. Hehe. Heh. Too late. There's no way to stop it now. Shock. I like how this is one of the games where your party member actually, like, kills people during cutscenes, and it's, like, guaranteed and stuff. That's some pretty dark shit. Ryu is dead? No! Now it's a party of 2 members. And our dragon is dead. We can't have that shit. Nina? More coughing sound effect. More coughing sound effect. Come on, Lynn, do something besides stand there watching. You bitch. Okay. Okay, wake up, Ryu. Come on. You survived getting stabbed in the throat. You're not dying to some nerve gas like a bitch. Come on. Yeah, this is obviously going to be Nina's little superpower cutscene. What the? And all the poison is flowing into her, and there's this beautiful white light. And suddenly the air is perfectly clean, with no nerve gas, and Ryu seems fine. He's just sleeping now. He's not dead. He's getting up. Of course, Nina's worn out, because she just used her super secret power. Ryu? Nina? Yeah, not a lot of talking in that cutscene. There's a lot of awkward pauses. What happened? I don't know. But the gas seems to have dispersed somehow. And you and Nina are okay. Of course, Nina doesn't look too well. The gas. Did Nina? I don't know. But I know where the answers are. Biocore. Gee, I wonder what the next dungeon is going to be. It's clearly going to be Biocore. And thus begins one of the most annoying sections of the entire game. Oh fuck, Biocore Labs. I recall this section. I recall this section rather fondly. As fondly as I can recall a section that horrible. Everything that happens from here to, like, the next 2 hours of gameplay is pretty much an extended session of pain and hatred. Fucking pain and hatred. So that was Nina's little special ability cutscene, sort of like Ryu's whole dragon transformation being stabbed in the throat thing. That's her cutscene. And we are now inside of Biocore Labs that apparently have an underground entrance. Seemingly we couldn't just walk into it. I like how I said underground entrance even though the entire fucking building is underground. I'm obviously very tired. And Nina has a status effect that we can't actually cure right now because we don't have the item that gets rid of it. Fortunately, they were nice enough to give us some multi-meds, which can best be described as this series' version of the remedy. Or, trying to think of another one. Oh, you know, it's your general, it cures everything item. Network is big, so we have a shop here too. These 3 chicks with the shop, they're everywhere. Magic wand +1. Handgun +1. Both very nice items. Magic wand +1 compared to the Thor hammer. The Magic wand +1 has 2 open level 1 slots, 2 open level 2 slots, and 2 open level 3 slots. Obviously, that's going to be very good. And we don't need the basic Pyromania, so I'm selling that for the extra money. Lynn finally gets rid of her pistol. Wow, that took forever. And Ryu is now getting adjusted a little bit here. I'm giving him his better armor so that he has more options. When I feel like playing around with that, I probably won't ever equip some of this stuff, but it's nice to have it set up just in case. Okay, I think that's just about it on the setup. Alright, the item locker. I should probably take that Juju out. I'll make a mental note to do that at some point. But for now, I'll probably just leave it. And no, that's the item. That's the weapon shop. Again, not really much point in buying the weapons. The weapon shop that I was mentioning before, the good weapon shop, that's tied to the ant colony. You can set up shops and stuff in there, and you can get some really rare, really nice items. The ant colony pretty much contains the Dragon Quarter equivalent of the late game shop that has all the super powerful, ridiculously awesome weapons. The version of that is pretty much that right there in the ant colony. They're still really expensive though, so it's going to be a really long time before I actually get my hands on any of those. And I do need to, you know, build up my ant colony before I can even set foot in there. So there's a lot of work to be done with the ant colony. Fortunately, you can make a shitload of money if you know what you're doing. And there's plenty of stuff to play around with, so it's a pretty cool little mini game. It can be a little bit time consuming, and it can be a little bit game breaking. But hey, with a game like this, it doesn't hurt to have a nice little ace up your sleeve. And it's also kind of useful for subsequent games because it doesn't really reset. Yes, that's right, and colony progress carries over. Which is good. Very, very good. Okay, I'm taking a little look at some stuff here. I was going to see if any work was actually done on the ant colony, but as you can see, everything looks pretty much exactly as I left it. There's a message board on the entrance room, and you can read the little messages that the various fairies have left. Of course, you only really see this fairy, and they all have that weird little speech thing where they say you as Y-O-O. I'm not sure how to pronounce that properly. I just say it as regular, you know, you. But, yeah, if there's a way I'm supposed to be saying that to get more accurate or whatever, go ahead and point it out. I don't mind. Okay, and I have plenty of save tokens. At least I should. Just in case. And I don't normally like to use the save token right away, but for this I will make an exception. Screw super high ranks. That boss killed me the first time through. So yeah, fuck you all and good night.